nothing but Star Wars. Give me the Star Wars. Don't let them end.
Bienvenidos, worldwide fans of our planet's hottest entertainment with an edge from a galaxy far, far away. Jaime En Fuego here, and I welcome you once more to my namesake program, Enfuegotainment, and some more Star Wars coverage. That is right, peeps. Just call me Fuego for short. So very stoked that you are here, and this is for the just released this week novel entitled Queen's Peril, which is also from, I believe it's E.K. Richardson, I want to say. I hope I didn't butcher that, but nonetheless, she had previously written Queen's Shadow and also the Ahsoka novel, both of which, of those previous, since Disney took over the property, purchased Lucasfilm, and all that. I have reviews of both of those here on the channel since I relaunched this, it's a little over a year ago now, in 2019, so lots of Star Wars coverage since then. And of course, I was going to check this out with the ongoing pandemic, quarantine craziness and stuff. Didn't have a physical copy, regrettably, so I listened to the awesome audio drama that is on Audible. I cannot stress enough how cool these are with just our narrators doing various voices. With the sound effects aspect, it's really incredibly immersive and very cool. And so, similar to Queen's Shadow, which took place in between episodes 1 and 2 of the prequels, this one, I guess similar time frame wise to Master and Apprentice that Claudia Gray wrote, this one actually takes place before episode 1, just like that book did. And so, this is all about Queen Amidala and basically Padme before she took on that title. With getting her election and then, not only taking the throne as queen, but coming up with the name Amidala, assembling her handmaidens with the, assist from Panaka, I believe his name is. Tanaka, god damn it. Anyway, so many names, but yes, the head of her, royal security and such. And so, yeah, this is another one of those that fills in some interesting gaps and blanks and stuff, because Sabe, being her main, switcheroo girl that she did, all of that stuff, especially in episode 1, where Sabe was played by Keira Knightley, if I remember correctly, and so she was the main stand-in, but we learned a lot more about the other 4 maidens here besides Sabe, and so how all of them, because there's Sashay, and there's once again lots of names, but the interesting thing as Panaka was assembling them is that all of them had different sorts of skills, some combat, some as a seamstress, some with lot picking and forgery and different stuff like that. So we get not only after the election and Padme actually taking power and everything, as I mentioned already, we get Panaka trying to figure out the best way of keeping her safe, and he's like, we should have a stand-in for you, and that, but not just one, is what Padme basically retorts with. She's like, well, if we have more than one, they will be completely thrown off, as opposed to being like, okay, if it's not her, it's her. If you're specifically trying to, implement an assassination of some sort, if there's 5 handmaidens instead of 1 or 2, that definitely, at least as far as the odds of the queen remaining safe, much higher likelihood. And so, yeah, Panaka assembles all of these girls, and each section of the book is broken up into just an initial, courting, so to speak, but really recruitment is the better word, of him trying to, get each of these different girls to come and be part of the fold. And then after he has assembled all of them, it does do some of the time jumping like we see in these Star Wars books a lot. So, we have our main threading narrative, but then each section jumps back to the initial recruitment, like I mentioned. But yeah, the story does progress and lead up to episode 1 and through everything that happens with the Trade Federation setting up the blockade, trying to, starve out the, inhabitants of Naboo. Also, an interesting thing that we get here too is we get these brief little just segues of, okay, we get a little bit of Yoda meditating and, talking with Mace Windu, and, both of them having kind of a vibe that something big is about to happen with, basically the war about to, just the initial, sprinklings of the stuff that's going to begin the Clone Wars at the end of the following film. You also get a little bit from, Darth Maul's perspective at one particular point. You get some stuff from Sidious, aka Palpatine. He was still, he was still a senator at this particular point. Being before Episode 1, he hadn't even, taken over as the new Chancellor just yet. So, I mean, you get all of these interesting little perspectives here and there. You get a little bit of Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan as well. But really, aside from those very, very brief little detours throughout the book, the main aspect is the camaraderie that forms amongst Padme, Sabe, and the rest of the handmaidens. And so, I mean, Queen's Shadow was very much about Sabe, and I know that they've gone on to explore her story a lot more in some of the extended canon, from what I've read, which is fascinating. I can't wait to learn more about her investigation, into Padme's death, which happens obviously after Revenge of the Sith and stuff. And so that, from what I understand, from looking on Wikipedia and stuff like that, Sabe is definitely the one of the 5 handmaidens that really gets a lot more to do as, the story progresses through not only, going from the prequels to the main trilogy, but even through that. And so that's stuff that I'm stoked to check out. But yeah, just at times, tough love, the contentiousness, and there is some, I mean, this is a young adult novel, just to forewarn. I think all 3 of these that EK wrote, and she does a great job on all of them. I especially enjoyed Ahsoka, even though Dave Filoni decided to retcon a little bit of stuff in those last few episodes of the Clone Wars final season, which kind of irked me because they're all supposed to, fit in and, be in canon, and yet there's just a little bit of stuff here and there that was tinkered with. But really, that Ahsoka novel is great. Queen's Shadow was very, very intriguing, especially just from the transition from being a queen into being a senator, and Palpatine specifically choosing her. But yeah, this is intriguing in its own right as well. EK does a very good job of writing, girls being a woman herself, and so just that sort of friendship and the tests that it has to endure. One of the handmaidens in particular, the girl's name is eluding me at the time, but they all first and foremost take on, just like Padme, they all kind of alter their names to have that little A at the end. That's sort of that suffix, to all of their names, so that there's even, more confusion if there's names used as to, which one is which one, because, she doesn't even go by Padme. She has become Amidala after, making the ascent in power. And so, yeah, that's an interesting little tidbit there. But even beyond that, like, friendship is tested when there is a visiting girl who shows interest in one of the handmaidens, and since there's all of this identity reversal and switcheroo stuff going down, there's one particular point where Padme is mistaken for this the girl that this young lady is actually interested in, and it causes friction with the friendship when she turns her down from taking a little kiss. And so I would imagine there's a lot of stupid groups that are going to be like, oh, there's same-sex whatever stuff going on in the Star Wars story. I know there was a lot of stupid rage about the that kiss at the end of Rise of Skywalker, but yeah, get over it, everybody. It's pretty stoops. And that's really just the fact that, young love a little bit and crushes and stuff like that, and this dance concert that they go to, that's where I can definitely feel that more YA-ness to the storytelling. But if you like this sort of prequel era stuff that they have expanded upon, and a lot of people really hated on George for the prequels for a while until this new trilogy came and rubbed a lot of people the wrong way as well. At least George had his concise vision, and he had really great grand ideas, which is where yes, there was some poor direction and dialogue that he has written, but everything else in the prequel era, whether a little bit before, during, or after, in between 3 and 4 as far as the episodes go, I have loved all of the expansion that James Luceno and Claudia Gray and E.K. Simmons here as well. They've done a great job as very strong writers, expanding, filling in the gaps, and really making me appreciate the prequels era so significantly more. And of course, initially I probably would have been like, okay, I'm a dude in my 30s, and I'm reading a story about this 16-year-old girl and all of her little handmaidens, and can I find this enjoyable? And I genuinely did. There's bits of humor that are timelessly as far as, you know, age goes. And then of course there's other bits that don't hit as hard, but really for the most part, despite, you know, a little gripe here and there when it feels the age that it's aimed at. I mean, Lost Stars was it was another one of the, you know, young adult novels. And, you know, that's the thing. There's young adult, there's junior, and then I think there's young readers. So there's all of these different tiers of the Star Wars storytelling in this new canon. This is just below a main novel. And I feel like for the most part, you know, 9 times out of 10 from what I have read with those that are at that particular age level, like the teen age level, you know, I think the writing has always been pretty impressive, and EK does a great job with this one, and I definitely recommend checking out. It's a very brisk listen. You know, I look forward to picking up a physical copy of it as well, and yeah, now it's going to be onward to much denser stuff, and you know, checking out the Thrawn trilogy, and those are significantly longer, but having these briefer little detours, and just I like the storytelling from a different perspective, because even though we do get, you know, a decent amount from Padme in here, really we get the perspective from all of these other handmaidens. And I mean, I know they've done that with the Clone Wars, I know they've done that, or it's upcoming with the Clone Wars, and I know they also did it with the original trilogy, just telling these tales from the perspective of people that we didn't necessarily follow initially. And so I definitely give props and a recommendation once more to Queen's Peril, the newest Star Wars tale, before we get into all of this High Republic stuff that is coming later this summer, and I'm very much looking forward to that. So I extend a grande gracias for joining, hearing my brief thoughts about this one, Queen's Peril, which is out now on both audio and physical hardcover form. So make the effort, check it out. I've been Jaime En Fuego. You can find me on all social media sectors like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, here on YouTube, where I've done loads of Star Wars coverage. I mean, everything from Dooku Jedi Lost to Lords of the Sith, the Tarkin novel, recently read Catalyst and Rebel Rising because I adore Rogue One, and I dug the hell out of getting supplemental information, you know, both before and leading up to, you know, the construction of the Death Star. So really, really awesome stuff there. Also, I do a Retro Fuego Thursday where I look back at an older film and review it. I do an Animated Monday, as well as lots of new Star Wars and just regular movie coverage here on the weekly, you know, just about every day. So yes, and if you like stuff that's more spectacular, which is where probably most people who are here chilling and hearing my thoughts are from, head on over to youtube.com/The Horror Show channel. That's where I specialize in the spectacular, along with Cecil Laird, Susie von Slotten, Marsha Parker, Robert Duell, and occasionally a few other guests that jump on there with us. We do trailer reactions, reviews of films, television, comics, video game Let's Plays. I have a weekly Stephen King show called Hail to Stephen King, unboxings, just all kinds of rad status stuff. So jump on over there, and yeah, that'll be the end of the proceedings for today, everybody. So until the Reel of Ka comes around once more, hasta luego, Cinemigos, constant readers and viewers alike, say thank you for you know, having this be your destination for a few minutes today. But I'm hopeful that we share more of this palaver sooner rather than later. And until then, read more Star Wars, and may the Force be with you.